Hey everybody, it's Caleb, Denison and Friends, and this is my pedal rundown for the album Kill and Eat. TU2 chromatic tuner might seem a little silly to bring that up, but literally I've had maybe this exact pedal for over a decade, well over a decade, maybe even 20 years. I don't think this is the exact one because I used to have my name on it, but literally they are tanks and they last forever. And you can change the way that it streams, you can change the mode between chromatic guitar, bass, all of those things. And the thing I use it for more than anything is regardless of what pedals I'm using, I can do my one spot here and then jump out, and it's like my power brick, my power source for any pedal I want to use, whether it's well, any of the pedals you're getting ready to see. So TU2, don't leave home without it. So the out of the pedals that I used, this is probably the one that distinct sound besides like the amps themselves that you've heard on the album. Clips like This Too Shall Pass and Caveman, kind of like the bridge section with the riff, is this bad boy right here. And I'm doing that because literally within a couple of days that fell off. I think I'm hard on stuff, but this is that sound. Now granted, this sound does not exist in my opinion when we do the amp rundown or whatever I'll show you, but like I was unable to get the sound I wanted out of this, honestly, without a 15-inch speaker in my cab. Sounded okay, but like it just didn't get that nasty low end like clarity that just really it needed for the sounds, specifically on like Caveman. It just was impossible without it. So volume, sustain, like a fuzz knob, and this kind of like puts the octave in. And I played with all different kinds of settings on this, but this is the pedal. How I even found out that I wanted this sound was there was a band, Audio Adrenaline, and they have a song called Secret. I used to listen to that album Bloom. I had the cassette tape of it, and I hid it from my parents because it was acid rock, and there was no acid rock gonna happen in my house, at my mom and dad's house. Anyway, and I loved that tone. And years later, after playing with Never Shout Never and having that success, I actually got a hold of Barry Blair. Is like, big shout out to Barry Blair, probably one of the most, especially early on, influential guitar players of my life. I've just always loved his playing, and he's just always had awesome tones and great parts. But I actually reached out to him, and apologized, because like on one of the Never Shout Never albums that we did, I actually stole his guitar. I think it was his guitar solo. Somebody from Audio Adrenaline did a guitar solo, and I stole it, and I put it on one of our records. And after giving my life to the Lord, I was like really convicted about it, and he was like so humble and so kind to reach out and say that he was actually honored. And then he talked to me anyways, and then I took it upon myself at that time to say, since I have you here, how on earth did you get that sound? And he pointed me to a Prescription Electronics Jimi Hendrix Experience pedal, which has like fuzz, octave, and like a swell feature. And although I didn't spend the extra cashola necessarily to get that pedal, I did find out that this is what I was looking for. So thank you, Barry Blair. I love you, and you're still one of my favorite guitar players. Next on the list of awesome things that I used, you guessed it, wah pedal. I will say that my cousin and good friend Warren Thornton taught me how to actually use this thing. And half of the time, here's how you use a crybaby. You don't use it half the time. The other half of the time that you do use it, you activate it and wah wah wah. And then the other half of the time that you use it, you play and you find like this sweet spot and you stop. And you walk away and you play the entire song in that spot. And you find just like this really cool thing that nothing else can do but this. And you'll hear that a lot on anything that I write and record and producer, whatever, this is like a staple thing, and I owe it all to Orrin Thornton, which, by the way, is another one of my favorite guitar players ever. He did, like, you guys don't even know half of what he's done, but he played like on Jesus Freak, DC Talk, like literally he was, I don't know, he must have been like 16 years old, and he went in the studio and recorded the guitar on that song with them, with another guy named Sean Turner from Springfield, Missouri. I'm not asking which one of them come up with that solo, but that might be one of my favorite solos of all time. But anyway, awesome dude, awesome pedal, awesome tricks and usage. So yeah, Crybaby. And then last but not least, it's not even a pedal. I'll insert some video clips over the top of this, but I've got a Fender Evil Twin amplifier, and it is it's a really awesome amp, and I don't even use the speakers in it. I actually am here. I'm in the control room of my father's studio, and this is where I record most of my stuff. Not where it gets mixed. You would be talking about Jeff Smith, the Studio 2100 right there. Shameless plug for an awesome dude. Anyways, I use that to power that old 15-inch, couldn't even tell you what speaker it is. That amp itself, besides the fact that it's got two channels, one that's super clean, crank it up and get some breakup, and then another one that's really high gain channel. It has reverb in it. I believe a spring reverb. Don't quote me on that. Reverb is one of those things I don't mind adding after the fact, because there's a lot of great reverbs, but the one thing there is not, in my opinion, is a tremolo. It's to me, it's second to none. And on a lot of stuff, like on some of the big dime ring-outs and stuff on like John Wayne, if you'll listen really close, in one of those ears, you'll hear a guitar that's like it's like real fast, but it's real slight. And I've always liked doing that, and I've come to find out later in life that actually that was something the guitar player for Pearl Jam did, that kind of added a shimmer. I may have that backwards. I heard that he did that, and I started doing it. But either way, it does add a shimmer if you crank the intensity or the speed of the tremolo all the way up, and then you dial the intensity back to where you can just barely make out that it's just barely make it out. It like adds this shimmer, especially if you do like a dual track or have multiple guitars. It like just throws this shimmer in there that is like super sweet. So it's not a pedal, it's in the amp, but it is an effect, and obviously I use all the gains and stuff in the amps, but we won't go into amps. This is specifically pedals. I guess it's pedals and effects. Any of the other effects or things you heard on the guitar from Kill and Eat were probably put there in post in the box in that bad boy right there. So yeah, that's that. So thanks for taking the time to check it out. What may have been, in my opinion, one of the most unriveting and boring pedal reviews of all time, because I literally use a tuner, a wah pedal, a fuzz pedal, and the tremolo for my amp. That is that's kind of my guitar tone. Brandon Bray, he used to just laugh because he'd show up and to our shows in the Springs, and he'd look at my pedal board and be like, what do you have there? And I think I literally had a delay pedal and a boost pedal. It's just kind of always been my style. Like, I don't know, fun stuff, I guess. So stick around and learn what I find and use and love and all that. Yeah. Love you guys. Thanks for watching.